Ijaz bhai, my hand is raised, so may I come in?
Yes, please go ahead. Then there is a question point raised by Saima, and I'll go over it.
So, okay. My question would be, if you could please shed a bit more light. The first time I understood what is Allah and how Allah operates in human lives or the universe, it's when Parvez Sahib explained in one of the lectures that we understand what is Allah, not in the physical sense, but as far as we're concerned or connected to us, is via Allah's attributes. And that made so much sense to me. And we have touched this subject of attributes today. And if you could please shed a little bit more light of the Asma al-Husna, or the attributes of Allah, and how important it is to understand them, I would be grateful. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Let me first address what Saima has written, because this Asma al-Husna will take slightly longer. She says in the chat is that how can a wife, mother, sister become Aziz, given that in today's capitalist world being Aziz is linked to earning power? The thing is that Quran also wants us to earn power, but Quran's approach is that in the human world, under the man-made system, this power is not Hakim. It doesn't constrains itself under some value system. The value system of man-made system is very transitory, very fluctuating, very fluid. It keeps changing because it is linked to human desire. Whatever we have seen it, for example, the Constitution of, let's take the example of America. The Constitution over there very clearly states that people have freedom to express their opinion. But nowadays they are saying, no, you cannot express opinion against a particular country or a particular policies of the nation or something like that. So this is the problem with the human man-made system, because it is working within the relative values. Quran is addressing this issue right at a fundamental level. It says that once you bring your own self individually, collectively, within the permanent values, then there is a long lead time before the establishment of the system of deen. And that is that within the man-made system, you should try to acquire power, that strength, that firmness within your own character to gain that strength, which can help. And it should be based on hikmat, which means it should be based on the Quranic value system, so that you develop that vision, that outlook, and that wide consciousness which can understand the human problems, not only physical but psychological as well. And then when the system is established, you are able to implement those values not only on others but on your own self. In fact, those who lead the system of deen, they have already acquired all those abilities, all those attributes. They're already displaying those divine attributes within their own self. And they are fully in grips with the permanent values. So that is how Quran wants us to proceed. And the aim of this platform is precisely that. Our aim is not to make anyone a Mu'min or a Muslim. It is to make our own self as Mu'min and a Muslim and be ready for that system of deen. And for that we have to create an inner strength at this stage, that whatever things we do in our day-to-day basis, we remain very, very firm that this is what we do. I'll give you an example. For example, in the West, we got these different, what do you call these boxes for rubbish. And there is in one box the plastic goes, in another the paper goes, and another the general rubbish goes. And many times I become tempted to put plastic in a general rubbish. Then I say, no, the procedure is that I should put that plastic into the plastic bag or a plastic container. And overcoming that tendency to not do it and follow the rule, which is actually good. What they do with that rubbish, it is not my issue. My issue is that we got different colored containers, and the gray container contains plastic, so the plastic go into it, and I must not put it in the general rubbish. So this will be my strength of character to follow that rule. But if I break that rule by saying, human beings can justify anything. Similarly, when we consume, for example, food in the house, we should be very conscious of it, that what is the impact this is going to have on my health. So that is, again, becoming Aziz. Similarly, following the rules when we go out in traffic so that we don't cause an accident, and we follow the rules so that we are not booked or we are not fined. So these are small things. Similarly, when we are parking, we park at the right place, even if we have to walk a bit longer distance. We don't park on yellow lines or double yellow lines. So this is that inner strength which we create within ourselves. And I always think of it, that when the system of Deen will come, before that, I have practiced to control my own self, my own proclivities towards taking shortcuts. You're going through the park, and you will see in some of the parks there is already a path created. People are not following the proper path. Similarly, we try to cross the road where there is no green light. We should avoid that. In fact, I still do it, so I'll have to overcome that tendency. So this is how we become Aziz. So Quran is saying that wherever you are, within the limited sphere in which you are, don't think that you cannot become Aziz. We can become Aziz even in the minor things in our life. For example, in the kitchen, we should not leave dishes and then go to sleep. We should wash them before. Sometimes I am quite attracted that, leave the dishes tonight, I'll wash them in the morning. Then I overcome that tendency of being lazy and do it. So this is how we should become Aziz. Bigger issues, let us not worry about them at this stage. Here is that on a smaller issues, we become Aziz. And then gradually we will be able to influence our children, our families, others. And this is a very good platform where we can share these things. Going back to, I hope, Fasaima, that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
So small thing. The whole thing, remember, whole thing is to be extremely alive, very conscious at every stage we should see. It doesn't mean worry ourselves, but with pleasure. That I want power from Allah, hence I have to make myself strong and firm. And I will, even in small things, I will try not to do something, take a shortcut. And if we start overcoming those proclivities, those tendencies of resorting to shortcuts, then we will see that our self will become strengthened. And these small things contribute in our consciousness because we become very alive to finer aspects of life. And once we become finer aspects of life, it is the finer aspects which make the major ones. So life is from micro to macro. Going back to Iftikhar Bhai's question, Allah is not visible, and He doesn't need to be visible. And what we will, in any case, why should we look at Him? The thing is that we got intellect, and this is also becoming Aziz, overcoming the tendency to look for a physical Allah. There are enough signs all Quran wants is that the intellect which He has given us, it says that you should use that intellect so that you can develop yourself, because this intellect will help to create that self which does not exist. We have to create it. For example, at this stage, if we say we have already created a new self whose concept is within our mind, that means now we are on Sirat-e-Mustaqim. Now the issue is how to strengthen it further with passage of time. So to strengthen that, what Quran says is that Allah is sum total of all these attributes which are given in the Quran. Like today we have gone through very briefly, Malik Yawmiddin and of course Aziz. But we have gone through Rabb, we have gone through Rahman and Rahim. We have also previously gone through, I think, Hakim and few others. And also as we went through these verses, we have gone through various attributes of His. So what Quran is saying is, this is what Allah is telling us, that I am sum total of these attributes. And these attributes which I possess are infinitely developed. I am Rahman to the extremities. I am Rahim to the extremities. I am Malik to the extreme. I possess so much power that when I start thinking something to happen, it starts happening. I'm so powerful. And I'm so omniscient that I can see everything. I simply, should I say that Allah simply cannot avoid not knowing anything because He's everywhere. Now, this is something we can understand, isn't it? If we imagine that if I'm running an organization in which I have tentacles everywhere, then I will know everything. But my tentacles will be through physical side or through AI or through videos or CCTVs and others. But Allah, since He is everywhere, so He knows everything. So that is great. So He says that since I am everywhere, hence I want you to get on my side. And I have created you for a specific purpose. And the purpose is that you create your own new life by using my attributes. These attributes, since I am life, Allah is life, and He creates life. He says, now this is a very, very important point. If we understand that, I think we will come to grips with the concept of Allah. Please pay attention very closely. Just imagine there is Allah who possesses all these attributes, and He is living forever and ever and ever, and He creates life. What He's saying is that all these attributes have life in them, but they have to be balanced. You can't follow mercy like Christians and then destroy the world, or like Muslims, so much forgiveness that everything is forgiven. What Quran is saying is that you have to carry out certain duties in this world on behalf of Allah by becoming His companion. So your companionship will start from the day you accept Iman in all these attributes and guidance and the need and everything which we have gone through. Then you have made a decision to develop yourself for a higher purpose of life. So you have cognitively at a thought process come out of the man-made system. You have rejected the man-made system, that this system of Taghut is not for me. So there is a period of lead time involved in that before rejecting the man-made system. Then it says that try to understand that I am sum total of all these attributes. So all these attributes are not visible to you. But potentials for understanding all these attributes and reflecting them in your personality are within you. So that means it has now become tangible. So Allah with His attributes is in the Quran. We have come to terms with the Quran by understanding it that these attributes are for our own good. If we start reflecting these attributes over a period of time by making an effort, then that means a new life will appear within us. Because these are the attributes of someone who is living. who gives life. So that means then we are also become capable of, once we have understood and acquired that self of a moment, then we are also able to guide others to create life and make them understand. For example, I claim that I have understood. So what I've done is now I'm sharing it with you. So what Quran is saying is that once you have understood those attributes, even at a very fundamental level, not yet reflecting them, but some of them you have started reflecting, you will come to this conclusion that this is something which I'm getting free. Don't have to spend any money for that. These are accessible to every human being. And through this is the way formula works, we'll be able to get power in the land as well. Because now we are on the side of someone who says be and it starts happening. So through these attributes, this is the concept of Allah in practical terms. With these attributes, we understand that Allah's help can be acquired, though He is invisible, through this book of His, by reflecting those attributes within us. And we have all the potentials, all the abilities, all the conscious and subconscious, whatever we have in our consciousness, which can accommodate these within the human limits, of course. And then we will see that the change which comes within us in terms of our outlook, in terms of our understanding, in terms of our affinity towards fellow human beings, whether Momin or not, it doesn't make any difference, because once we start working on behalf of Allah, then we have to be very tolerant as well. Now, Allah is very tolerant. He's tolerating 8-9 billions of these people, and He's tolerating Trump as well as others in this world and all the criminals. Why is He tolerating? Because He knows law is on His side. Because He knows that the law of requital will take care of them. Because He knows that I've given them finite time, I'm not going to interfere. Because He knows that there are people in that world as well who are working on my behalf as well. And though they are at an initial stages of working on this path, but because He knows our determination. He knows the determination and strength of each one of us. And we also know what kind of a strength we have, because that is the whole purpose of this platform, that we know ourselves. Know thyself, as they say, know ourselves as well as we, through knowing our own self, we know all are equal human beings, we know others as well. So this is how this concept of a small Husna, because all His attributes, we know they are very balanced. And they do not, for example, when He says that He is Jabbar, at the same time He is Rahim. And Jabbar means that we should have enough strength to stop someone who is trying to do harm to others. And what is going on, for example, imbalances in the world, is because they are following relative values, they are following their desires. So this is how this concept of Allah works, that Allah is sum total of all those attributes. And once we understand those attributes, which is not difficult, what I mean is, even if we go through some of these, the book Human Self and Allah, Mano Yazda, is excellent on this aspect. We can scan through it. And we will see that a lot of these things, even under man-made system, we can easily manifest. Very easily we can manifest. And in our day-to-day work, in our dealings with others, in our commitments, in our looking after our health, in terms of our outlook. For example, we have to be Aziz to go through all the mess which man-made system has created. For example, what is going on in Gaza or other parts of the world, it creates a lot of pain and heartaches. But we have to be Aziz to overcome that pain and say, no, we are on the right path. At this stage, we are not able to stop it. We can't become Jabbar and Muntakim at this stage, but a stage will come when we will. And for that, I must create that inner firmness within me so that when the time comes, I stand up against evil very strongly. Or we stand up against evil very strongly once the system is there. So these are the things. Similarly, we come across people with whom we talk, and we should be very firm and tell them that, look, this is Quran and I follow it. And we should not be scared of losing relationships or friendships or connections and others. We say, this is what I follow. And I'm honest because this is what is demanded by the Quran. And I'm transparent because this is what is demanded by the Quran. You don't like it, that is fine. So because once we acquire the friendship of Allah, we should never feel lonely. It doesn't mean that we will not require other human beings around us. Of course, we need human beings around us because Jamaat has to be that, but it has to be based on value system. And it is not a one-day job. It is the job of rest of our life. I hope that makes sense. If anyone else wants to add to it, is welcome.
Thank you, Jazba. Yeah.